Hey Rockstars, Lid Shaw. I'm here at NAMM 2020 at the OWC booth with Larry O'Connor. How you doing, Larry?
Doing great. No, thanks for being
Great to see
here.
you, man. I feel like we just did a video together, but let's do another.
Yeah, how about the deja vu?
So let's talk about some other cool stuff here, because you guys have a ton of things, but we want to go through and get a few of the great ones.
SSDs, are really the thing today. The cost has come down, performance is really high. You don't have to worry about something mechanical breaking. But the big thing is for all those tracks you want to have. SSDs. With the right SSD, which we certainly provide you never run out of bandwidth. You can load it up and it keeps up with you. It's a game changer.
It's super fast.
Super fast, and if you're still using a hard drive in any system, I really implore you to replace that hard drive, put in an SSD, because it will be a brand new machine. If you're able to make it happen with a hard drive in your system, you have no idea what you're going to be, what you can unleash upon the world when you replace that drive with an SSD.
Yeah, so I remember replacing my drives with SSDs in my studio computer. All of a sudden I was moving lightning fast for comping vocals and things like that, mixing, and it was really quick. It was keeping up with me, which is nice. So now what do we got here? This and this are both pretty cool.
This is our Thunderbay 4 Mini. We support it in both a Thunderbolt 2 and a Thunderbolt 3 version. We actually discontinued this product a few years ago. It went into life the end of 2017, early 2018. And as soon as we did it, everybody wanted it. I think 2.5-inch drives had come up to speed. The pricing came down. It suddenly became something that, and I think more people learned about it when we announced its discontinuation, which perhaps we'll have to work on that. But this is a solution that lets you have up to 4 2.5-inch drives, and it makes it very easy to swap drives in and out. 2.5-inch SSDs in particular are very inexpensive. It's something that gives you the flexibility to load it up with whether you start with 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes, 8 terabytes, now even up to 16 terabytes of SSD storage. You can put it into the sky, get up to 2,000 megabytes a second, super high speed. But again, the flexibility, if you want to have a set of drives that has a certain music set on it, drop them in, go. When it's time for something else, you can pull those out, put another set in. So it gives you really high performance, really easy flexibility, and you call it maintenance for future upgradability at a very competitive price.
So if you're mixing tons and tons of tracks, if you're working on sessions that have hundreds of tracks and you're trying to pull samples off the drives and all kinds of stuff like that, this is the kind of thing that would keep up with that speed and not slow you down?
Absolutely, and what's really cool, there's a number of artists, one that actually just saw in my booth a moment ago, that actually use the Thunderbay 4 Minis and our 14-port docks live on stage, for their concert production. They actually pulling those tracks, pulling those synth sounds, pulling those instruments live from these guys, not just in a controlled studio. Actually on stage, where if something goes wrong,
right, you got no sound if it's not working right.
Right. And the bottom line is, it's the reliability, the flexibility, and the performance and the on-demand. This is an incredible tool.
So now I know this is plugged in, so we can't really quite spin it around. But the back of this guy is we basically got Thunderbolt connections on the back, right?
Correct. This guy happens to be the Thunderbolt 3 version. And again, we supported both in Thunderbolt 3 and Thunderbolt 2. And I think that's important, to talk about to some degree, in the sense that, yes, Thunderbolt 3 has been out here for since 2016, but Apple produced machines up until last year that were still Thunderbolt 2 enabled. The Mac Mini only went Thunderbolt 3 in 2018. We will continue supporting Thunderbolt for as long as, actually, we have chipset that technically already did go out into life. As long as we have chipsets available, because we stocked up on that, we will support these machines because they still work awesome. And there's, what, Thunderbolt 3 is great, but if your Thunderbolt 2 machine is working, you shouldn't have to buy a new system just to take advantage and use technology that can make your workflow better. You continue to upgrade, continue to support what you've got without having to start over with a new OS and new software. So whether it's new or old, we're making sure all these things, and
that's a continuing philosophy for OWC for you guys, right? Is you guys really make a special effort to make all of us who still have older computers feel well loved and supported.
Hey, we've got iMacs opened up in the back there that are almost a decade old. We have a 2012 MacBook Pro opened up to say, hey, these are the things that we still do for this machine because it's still relevant, they still work well. And here's the kick. I say this about Apple. Apple builds, by and large, the best hardware on the planet.
Nice.
They build it to last. And that's something, you look at PCs do get replaced. For all practical purposes, they get replaced on a kind of a 2 to 3 year cycle. PC from a decade ago, I don't think is doing half what a Mac does today, from that same time span. And if it works for you, there's only one reason to upgrade. There's something new out that's going to give you, some creative advantage, something that's going to let you, do more, create more, do something that you're not already able to do with what you have. But what you have is doing everything you want it to do. Keep it going. You can make it faster, you can make it better. You can maintain it. We've got the parts. We do everything we can so you can keep that workflow alive and flowing until it's time to move on to a new workflow.
Well, we appreciate that in the recording studios, of course, because we put a lot of time and investment and effort into, building our studios, and it's like we've got the computer, but there's a whole lot more that goes with it. Interfaces, whether cards are going in it, how those cards are connected with the computer, and it's frustrating when the computer gets obsoleted, and therefore there's a daisy chain effect of our studio feeling obsoleted. So it's really great that you guys support all that stuff. Now I know there was another thing here you wanted to show us too.
Oh yeah.
What do we got down here? Because this is pretty cute and looks pretty awesome and portable.
Yeah, this is our Envoy Pro EX for USB Type-C, but it supports USB-C with 3.1 Gen 2. So it'll work on the latest Macs and PCs with data rates of about 1,000 megabytes a second. So when you connect it to anything with Type-C, you're hitting about 1,000 megs a second off this little guy, up to 2 terabytes. Super rugged. We don't call it rugged, but this has been run over by not this exact unit, but we've run this unit over cars, trucks. It goes up. It'll survive. In 2 meters of water. It's dust-proof. But so now we're talking about USB-C, the really awesome benefit, because a lot of, if you have, especially if you're in transition where you got a new system and an older system, or you got a system that's pre-Thunderbolt 3, but you want to be able to, maybe you got friends, maybe they have Thunderbolt 3, maybe you got a studio that has Thunderbolt 3 where you can get that higher performance interface. This will work on any Mac or PC pretty much from 2012 or later with just USB 3. So you get about 500 megs a second on a system with Type A with the USB 3. You get about 1,000 megabytes a second on the latest systems that have Type-C interface.
Right on. And what was the size of one of these guys? What's inside it as far as storage size?
Up to 2 terabytes. Up to 2 terabytes today. Later this year, 4 terabytes.
Okay, and then what kind of price point do we want people to know about?
1 terabyte starts at $200 on this guy, so very reasonable and that's all flash. And this is something, I don't exaggerate. This was, was tossed off cars, was run over by cars, was burned out on, just to, try to destroy it, and it survived. So this is not just, extremely fast, extremely portable, extremely, rugged. It's also extremely reasonable in price for everything it does. It gives you a safe place to really crank things out and perform.
Well, very cool. Well, of course, in the studio we talk sometimes about struggling with muddy mixes. It's good to know that if our hard drive is not going to get affected by that mud of our mix. But so now what about, if externally it's very rugged and a car driving over it isn't going to hurt it, what about internally with the flash? Do you guys sort of go the extra mile to make sure that the internal workings of this also has got that same kind of reliability?
Oh, absolutely, positively. Honestly, that's with over a decade of experience manufacturing SSDs today. That's relatively easy part. We've certainly learned a great deal over the last decade, and flash technology's also come a long ways. For internal upgrades, we learned some interesting lessons, certainly with our last drives. We're really excited about, if you look at the X2 for all the MacBooks, not only was that built to be much faster than the previous generation, run cooler, use less power, it was also built to be more, tolerant of handling. People are so used to, memory sticks, and they toss them around. It's almost how I watch me. We've gone, even technical guys, when you hand them a blade, some of them will, if they haven't yet, will flex it a little bit just because it's not.
Don't do that.
No, please don't do that. And there's so many the density of the BGA connections under those chips. A little bit of flex, a little bit of handling, and when you go through hot cold cycles, not good for the drive. Not good for bad things happen. But in addition to everything, all the other improvements with the X2 over our first generation for NVMe high speed, we also improved the design to make it harder for an accidental, hidden damage. So.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys making solid gear, and also we really appreciate the kind of tech support that you guys offer. So if you get anything from OWC, Rockstars, you can call them, you can message them, you can chat with them online. There's many ways to reach out to them and make sure that you get the help you need in that moment. So,
I want to really point out too, those folks aren't scripted. Those folks You know,
Yeah.
they're users. They use the gear. They know the gear. They'll actually have a conversation with you. It's not a checklist of things. I've already done that. No, I'm here. Well, have you done that? We already talked about this.
They also don't have funny accents that make you ask, like, are you even here in the same country with me? So we appreciate you guys, giving us the real deal. So, Larry, again, let the rock stars know how they can find out more about you guys. Where do they go to get the Thunderbay 4 Mini and the Envoy Pro here?
They can grab it all. Go check out OWC.com or MaxSales.com, or hey, visit your favorite reseller, because we got this stuff's available, far and wide, and any place you support an OWC, we're there supporting you. So, thank you.
Cool. And or if you're here at NAMM, come by the booth. And I had the number, but somebody's foot on it now, so just come pay us a visit. We'll see you guys in the next video, Rockstar.